With so many electric vehicles on sale in Australia, it can be easy to get drawn in by the newest and the shiniest, but that means you may overlook some proven performers. Take the Polestar 2 for instance. It's one of the longest serving electric vehicles in Australia. It was one of the first to arrive here and it's a proven performer. We're taking a look at the latest update. It's been subtly changed for the new model year, but it's available at a pretty good price and it stacks up well against some of the newer competitors, things like the Kia EV4 and also the popular Tesla Model 3. So what does the Polestar 2 have to offer the electric car buyer, and has it got enough to stack up against some of the newer competition? Now, one thing that feels a little old hat in comparison to some of the newer vehicles is that the Polestar 2 is clearly a driver's car, and there's this large segmentation here in the center console between the driver and the passenger, and that actually means that you've got quite a cramped feeling behind the wheel. A lot of newer vehicles are a lot more spacious and feel lighter in the interior. The other thing that's a little bit strange and compromising is there's only a single cup holder, and that makes things a little bit tricky if your passenger wants to stash their drink somewhere. And you've got this large housing for the shifter, which means there's really useful real estate here that's being used up. It doesn't feel like the best use of space. One of the updates that has worked is this new processor that's running the infotainment system. It is super quick, and the fact that it's using Google-onboard as well means that it's really easy and intuitive to use. You've got access to Google Assistant as well as the whole suite of Google Play apps. Even in 2026, this is still one of the better infotainment systems on the market. And interestingly, if you own a current Polestar 2, have a chat with Polestar, they may be able to upgrade your system to this newest infotainment one. Another one of the features which is really attractive is this large sunroof. Now that makes a big difference for the passengers in the back. That is one of the compromises of the Polestar 2, is that the headroom for taller passengers is a little bit limited, but at least with the sunroof, it does feel a bit more airy. So let's go and have a look at the rear space. In the rear seat, this is where I would usually have my driver's seat. It is probably a little bit further forward than a 6-footer would have it. I've got loads of legroom. I'm about 5'6", but I am feeling like this headliner is pretty close to my head. And I can imagine that if you're a 6-footer, then you are going to feel quite squeezed by this cabin. In terms of other amenities, there are a couple of vents here, but there's no digital controls, so I can't manage the temperature back here. There's a couple of chargers, but there's no map pockets on the rear seat. So if you've got kids that want to stash gear, they're going to be a little bit short-changed. I've got this armrest here with a couple of cup holders too. So overall, not a bad place, but there are going to be some compromises made if you choose to carry a family in this car. In terms of storage, there's loads of practical space back here, but it doesn't have quite the flexibility of an SUV body style. But that said, you can fold the second row forward. That gives you plenty of space for carrying gear. There's also a false boot floor, so you've got additional storage here. We've got charge cables here, but there is a decent space if you wanted to stash things away. And this feature, which I really like, which is part of the Plus pack, is the luggage divider. A really clever idea. It helps to divide the space so things aren't rolling around when you're driving. Really love this feature. One area where the Polestar 2 really shines compared to its shiniest competition is the way that it drives. It's got a nice mature feel on the road, and I think that provides a really rewarding experience. My pick is the single motor rear wheel drive long range model. So this one has got a battery which will take you over 650 kilometers of driving range, depending on how you drive. And for the price, I reckon that's a pretty compelling offer. Typically for something which is getting 650, 700 kilometers of range, you're looking at a significant price tag. So well done Polestar for bringing it in at that price point. Talking of price points, it's a pretty interesting proposition because you're going to stack this up against things like the Tesla Model 3, that's a fairly obvious one, but also against the brand new Kia EV4, which starts live at $49,990 plus on-road costs, but then the GT line model pushes up into Polestar 2 territory. So you could be getting into this premium model for the price of the new Kia EV4, and I reckon that's worth some serious consideration, even though you may miss out on some of the bits of tech which are included as standard in that EV4 GT line. Even though bragging rights are really with the dual motor model in terms of power and torque figures, the Polestar 2 rear wheel drive really manages its power very well and results in a rewarding drive. I like the steering feel, which can be changed through the touchscreen here. It's got a nice amount of feedback to it, and the car is really composed through cornering. So if drivability matters to you, then take the Polestar 2 for a test drive. The driver assistance technology is really nicely integrated. Everything works when it needs to without it being overly intrusive. And you've got the support of the growing Polestar dealer network, who are really well established now in Australia. Yes, you may lose out on the practicality of an SUV, and the rear space may not be quite as accommodating for the kids as something that's got, more storage options, but overall the Polestar 2 does present as a well-rounded package, and that pricing is a surprise. So while the Polestar 2 may not be the newest kid on the block, it is one of the most accomplished. Line it up against the competition and you may well find that it offers you greater value than you had initially thought.
If you're looking for your next car, you can research and compare running costs, features and specs, and view loan options at RACV Car Match.